like, I close my eyes. And then everyone's like, you literally are friends with a brutal, violent. And they're like, we don't talk about that, number one. Number two, really weird that you would accuse a trans woman of that. It's like, but they admitted it. There's literally no reason for Xan to continue down this line, but he's going to. He can't stop himself now. The wheels are already in motion. He has to burn every bridge to stay consistent. This is what I love about President Sunday. Someone can be considered your friend. Someone can be considered, someone can be, part of your squad, right? But the second that he decides to turn on you, it's just like the most cutting, like Victorian era insults, like deeply uncharismatic person. Wait,
the
what?
whiter person on the screen is Xanderhall, as you can see.
The whiter person? Really? They're like this. No, I guess President Sunday does have slightly more color. It's just pinker. Less than white. He's just pinker. Okay.
Of lying. Can't imagine anybody accusing Xanderhall of lying, and yet this is what the world has come to. So, the Xander Miner. He is always beneath you, but nothing is beneath him.
Regardless. Karl Max, like, randomly...
Why am I watching President Soy Day? Well, I'll tell you why. President Sunday is a true enigma in this space. He is nonpartisan. He is always fair, always reasonable. He is simply a force of nature. There is no telling what side on any given topic he will take, unless it has to do with Demon Mama, in which case he will defend Demon Mama and Doe to the ends of the earth, regardless of what they do. But you will not know on any other topic what position he's going to take. And here we are. He's on the right side of history, shitting on Xanderhall.
brought up that my ex stole from me, I'd use the idea that creators would make more money, and that's like a plus side. Karl
This
Max
time, yes.
responded, well, honestly, if you need the money this much after your ex stole from you...
Actually, Karl Max didn't say that, and actually Gayfesh corrected you on that, and actually you blocked Gayfesh afterwards.
Oh man, the
which
whole sphere is
Gayfesh for, who
coming down,
Demon
huh?
Mama to ban me from her server because he's a 38-year-old man-child, but leaving that aside, that's incorrect, and you've buried everybody who's contradicted you on this.
Then that's your problem with how much opportunity you
That's
had
your
to make
problem.
money at this point. It's like, what?
Dude,
But they're
Xan
both
is
in the
so...
financial right now, so I think at this...
There's literally no reason for Xan to continue down this line, but he's going to. He can't stop himself now. The wheels are already in motion. He has to burn every bridge to stay consistent.
point, leveraging your financial hardship is a little strange. I think the quote, the comment by Karl Max primarily amounted to a deep naivete about how much streamers of his size make, such that they could simply absorb a $10,000 loss, which is not true. I could absorb a $10,000 loss, but it would hurt.
What?
And I'm not his size, granted, but he's pulling like 380 streamers. I'm at what, 162? Let's say roughly a third. Yeah, like
Really, these aren't grown?
Xanderhall has done this weird thing where he's made a critical part of his branding when it comes to interpersonal disputes to front and center his victimization by other people. It is not. There's nothing wrong with him being very sore with people like, for example, DJ Mule, using his girlfriend, abusing him, and taking a bunch of his cash, and weaponizing that against him. But by the same token, weaponizing that willy-nilly to shut people up, by sort of centering yourself as like the
Victim?
and
Fuck, I didn't grab Cut.
Aggrieved victim is
Where is
extremely
Cut?
disingenuous. In fact, the only reason why we're talking about this in this context is because Gayfesh, for whatever reason, thought it was a really pertinent thing to start tossing Keffels, who was being extremely disingenuous in her debate with Karl Max, a bunch of like optically disadvantageous tweets and so on and so forth that didn't have anything to do with the present discussion, which was, is it appropriate to use they fab language? Xanderhall, of course,
Whoa, he just said a
excited
slur?
to jump on the opportunity to be a victim, made a massive deal of this, and then started melting down with everybody who gave him slight pushback in terms of if we was exaggerating what was going on or not.
And if I was, wouldn't it be even, like, worse to say something like that? Also,
no one cares. No one cares, Xanderhall. Grow up. It's okay. It sucks. Yeah, your ex-girlfriend, terrible person, okay? It's terrible that they did whatever they did to you. It's terrible that they got your money.
Whatever happened to Zan's ex? Does anybody know? Does she still post on Twitter or anything? I remember talking to her in the immediate aftermath of Xan coming out on Chud's channel, right? Like, very good faith, you know. Hey, Lonnie. So, like, do you have like your own side of this story, or is this like what's the deal here, right? And then, like, I feel like she ghosted. After a brief conversation, she ghosted everyone for like a couple of months, and then she started jumping in on threads on Twitter. But that's the last I heard of her. Does anybody know? Has she fully succumbed to the to the meth?
Move on.
Okay, I will Sunday.
I'm gonna be completely honest. That's one of the most naive things I've ever heard. Has Karl Marx ever had their identity stolen?
Okay, hang on. What actually happened? So his identity was stolen. Okay. So apparently,
That's
like
true.
she went nuts. Like she stole his identity. She stole a bunch of his cash. She slandered him online and made him seem like he was a bad guy. But it's like now is any like reference to your finances now the equivalent of an anti-Semitic remark in Xanderhall's world? Like, what is this? I don't get it. It's bizarre. He compared Karl Marx to Corvidae, who was someone that was spreading the sex cult rumors about him way back when, which is a dumb comparison, honestly. It's also damaging Karl Marx's reputation. That's not cool. It's not like this isn't like a one-way street. If Xanderhall is speaking to
I thought that like the what's his Karl Marx guy was like pretty cool, right? Kind of reminded me of me when I first started streaming, you know, very socialist, but you know, still trying to be reasonable, probably going to be a sock dim in the next year or two, after like realizing like that like through debate bro shit that, you know, it's just not really feasible to be a socialist, you know. But like, man, I don't think I was ever as soy as what's his name, as Max is. Like the hardcore language policing, the weird, unbelievable little dramas that he's gotten himself into over the most unneeded dramas with like other lefties. Like, this guy is inane. Yeah, that's a good word for it. We'll use inane.
To a much larger audience and his
Hopefully he grows up.
Character. That's doing damage to them. That's doing damage to their ability to network and grow. That's him gatekeeping his job, essentially.
Because when you have your identity stolen, it tends to affect this thing called your credit score, and you have to do this thing called
not your credit score
to try to get it taken off. And they're fucking annoying. They want you to like it fucking.
He hasn't realized that everyone's hate for DJ Mule doesn't translate into love for him.
Ooh.
Xanderhall is a deeply uncharismatic and ignorant person, and he doesn't have a lot to sell besides.
I love, like, this is what I love about President Sunday. You know, someone can be considered your friend. Someone can be considered, you know, someone can be, you know, part of your squad, right? But the second that he decides to turn on you, it's just like the most cutting, like Victorian era insults, like deeply uncharismatic person, deeply uncharismatic. He doesn't have the gumption to take on someone like me. Like, it's like the strangest, about face on people that like would otherwise be, someone that would be on his side. It's just very strange to me, but
that he's a Vosh waiting room.
No.
Who makes comical factual errors on the regular and has bizarre, embarrassing spats with people.
Damn, bro.
I don't
Bizarre.
comprehend what people see in him or why people watch him except for the friends that he has.
Sucks. Okay?
Bro,
Getting
that's
your
so
identity
brutal.
stolen.
Why is he talking about identity theft? What does this have to do with Keffels or Karl Max? Because he's spinning a sob story justifying why he's making this about him. Nobody cares about him. The only reason why we're talking about Xanderhall right now is because he decided to come out of the woodwork randomly to attack Keffels about something unrelated. Keffels gave some mild pushback to Thought Slime in an anti-shoe on head Thought Slime video, and Xanderhall lost his mind, forgetting that he and Cherry, his editor, have been perfectly happy to rub shoulders with Brianna Wu within 30 days of Brianna Wu actually calling Demon Mama and files. Like to a massive amount of people. And now suddenly Shu, we're going to get to what the actual jacketing was by Shu.
If they just wouldn't like do things that were like weirdly pedophilic, maybe people wouldn't be able to levy that accusation of pedophile at them so often, right? Like, have we thought about that, like, literally even once? That, like, maybe it's a little bit strange that people keep on coming up with ammunition to call Demon Mama or Doe pedophiles? Or at least, like, okay with pedophilia? Is that, like, a crazy thing? That it's, like, at least once or twice a year that these have some screenshots of someone in their orbit doing some like really like insane shit, like, brutally someone and then breaking into their house with a knife like a week later, and then them just like pretending like that never happened, like I close my eyes, and then everyone's like, you literally are friends with a brutal, violent, and they're like, we don't talk about that, number one. Number two, really weird that you would accuse a trans woman of that. It's like, but they admitted it. They literally admitted it. Or like, hey, Demon Mama's other partner in the polycule, for some reason, talks about how much they love little baby boy dick. Isn't it weird that, like, for some reason, all these people around Demon Mama tend to be, like, weird or like pedophile adjacent? Who is that again? The was the Chariot TV. I don't know if she's rebranded like a fifth time or something, but